Hey Kryptonians, Simon here for a really quick update. I've been doing back-to-back workshops, which is why I've been sort of away for a fair bit. But I guess I think I keep on repeating myself, and the reason I'm repeating myself is because the things I keep on saying are still valid. Just because the price of Bitcoin oscillates 500 points or $1,000 here or there doesn't necessarily change what's going on at the moment. So basically, a few things. We've finally taken out that low. I've always referred to it as the 6,000 low, but really it's like the 5,800 low. We've taken it out. So from a technical standpoint, we can now start climbing again. From it, like, for those who've been following me for a while, I've been obsessed with that 6,000 low, or 5,800, 5,850 low, for a good 3 or 4 months now, ever since it was posted, as in that low was put in. But now we've taken it out, we can get back up. Also, you have to understand, so yes, even though I've been maintaining, you know, that we have to take the low before we go out, and I got back into the market maybe 2 weeks ago. So yeah, technically I'm under, as in my portfolio is still a little bit under. I'm still bullish because I'm not bottom picking. You have to understand that when Bitcoin reverses, it tends to reverse aggressively, and it doesn't really pause or pull back to give you low risk re-entry opportunities. It literally just pisses off without you. And so yeah, you will see a bit of a V reversal followed by see you later. But I'm still bullish. I'm really bullish. The thing is, when you start entering sort of capitulation type phases of the market, you have these massive tree shakes, and it just basically shits all the weak hands off. You then start seeing, I mean, retail traders or retail investors, or especially crypto, the average crypto punter, is like super sensitive. When cryptos start booming, they're like, oh my god, Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million in like 2 weeks. And when it starts falling, they're like, oh my god, like Bitcoin's going to 0 in 2 weeks. You have to chill the frick out, you really do. Personally, if you look at the chart of Bitcoin, I'm really not interested in Bitcoin until it closes and stays above that $11,500 level, because that is when technically it's out of its range. And if you go back to 2014, the crash of 2014, where it basically slumped for about 18 months, you'll see that the price action is almost identical to that what happened in 2014. However, the fundamentals have massively changed, and I don't believe we will have an 18-month slump due to some of the fundamentals I'm about to show. But explain yeah, so let's talk about OTC. So one of the reasons for how we've had massive falling is that we've had over-the-counter trading. So long story short, if you're a whale, you don't go to Kraken or Coinbase to buy your Bitcoin. You do secret backroom doors with liquidity providers or other whales that have Bitcoin. And what happens is, like, hell, if you had, say, $50 million or $100 million, you yourself could manipulate the price of Bitcoin on your own. You don't need to be Wall Street or a banker, etc. You can just do it yourself. So what happens is, let's say you got, I don't know, $100 million worth of Bitcoin. You buy it OTC, so it's not registered on CoinMarketCap or any of the exchanges, etc. And then what you do is you open up shitloads of accounts on Coinbase, Kraken, BitMEX, all of these different exchanges, and then you sell $100 million worth of Bitcoin as aggressively as you can. What do you think the price is going to do? It's literally going to fall. So it'll drop, say, $1,000, and then you come in and buy your Bitcoin $1,000 cheaper. So you end up with more Bitcoin for your buck. And then you probably keep on rinsing and repeating. However, the market can only do that for so long. And what you'll find is that you'll dump $100 million in, and the price only budges like a couple $100. So these people doing the sort of the OTC spin, as it's called, they can see the effectiveness of it getting. So when you first do it, like, they may be acting in concert. Like, they can dump it $10,000, like from 20 to 10, etc., and then from 10 to 5. But like it's getting harder. So what you'll find is you'll hit a sort of hard floor, and it also ties into the fact that it costs on average $4,500 to $5,500 dollars to mine one Bitcoin. So yeah, we will go below the mining costs, or we could go below the mining cost for a bit, and it could stay there for up to sort of 6 months. Don't believe in that fallacy that it absolutely can't go below $4,000, because it can. The reason being is that the big miners, they're sat there on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of profit. They can weather the storm. They can basically put every other miner out of business, which is pretty much why Bitmain is now almost surpassed 51% of the Bitmain itself has almost surpassed 51% of the whole global hash rate, which is very centralized. Also, another reason why now is different than 2014 is because of the hash rate. Holy freaking Jesus. If you look at the hash rate, the global hash rate since, say, January, it's doubled. The hash rate has doubled since January. So what this means is that the amount of mining power has doubled since January, even though the prices have dropped massively. And what you really need to remember is that the price of Bitcoin follows the hash rate. Hash rate is somewhat, or can sometimes be seen as a leading indicator. So yeah, the price will follow the hash rate. So that's that. Also, don't forget, when people say the big money or the sophisticated money or whatever, there's lots of different echelons of big money. You have like the big boys at the top, which will be the central banks or the IMF, etc. Then you'd have, you know, the primary lenders like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, all that sort of stuff. Then you have the smaller banks. Then you have the hedge fund, the various hedge funds out there. And basically, when people say whales, there's probably at least 15 different echelons or levels of whale. And then you have like mini whales, I don't know, orcas or whatever, where, you know, you could be just a rich person, like a rich business owner, like that's worth 50 or 100 million. You would still be a whale, but you're not part of, you know, the cartel or whatever. And so all of the rich people that are now trying to jump in, they're all trying to get in via OTC, over-the-counter trading. But what we will see is that we will have OTC FOMO. So we will have people trying to get in OTC, like they're trying to buy 5 million or 10 million or whatever. And a lot of the people trying to buy OTC will have some sort of discount up here, because they're like, right, I want to buy in bulk, but I want a discount because I'm buying in bulk. And so they're probably demanding silly rates like, I want a 4% discount, a 5%, or hell, a 7% discount. And they're not going to get it. Who the hell is in their right mind is going to release 10, 20, $100 million worth of Bitcoin at these crazy low prices at a discount? They're not going to do it. So what will happen is that they'll put all these orders out for, you know, these big old orders, and then they're never going to be filled. And then Bitcoin will just do its own thing. It'll have its aggressive V reversal. It will shoot up from 6,000 to 7,000 like overnight. And these big boys that haven't been filled OTC, they're going to shit their pants and go, oh my god, right, I'm going OTC, but I'll buy at market or whatever. And that is going to add extra pressure to the market, as in extra upwards pressure. Don't forget, I said for a while bugger, I think I'm taking the wrong exit. No, I'm not. Back when Ether was, I think, $700, the Ether Futures market went live, and like I said, I was like, expect Ether to dive like anything, because what is the futures market for? It's there for the big boys to manipulate prices. And guess what's happened? Ether is like sub $500 or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, and why do they create a futures market for Ether? It's because Wall Street want Ether. So Ether is, I'm really bullish on Ether right now. Also, there's an ETF, like a Wall Street type ETF, that's been fast-tracked and approved by the SEC. Why do you want an ETF, an exchange traded fund? Basically, the big money, or the pension funds, or any of these, you know, sort of institutional money, they will not get into cryptos or Bitcoin properly until there's a proper official old boys club Bitcoin ETF. and it needs to be deep. It needs to be billions of dollars. Otherwise, the big money won't play in it. So that's coming through, so that's extra positive pressure. And also the gateways. This is the biggest freaking reason why 2014 is not going to play out. I think we have, at best, 10, maybe 15% chance of having an 18-month range here, at best. And one of the reasons is that of the gateways. Don't forget, Binance has quadrupled its holdings. Sorry, it's quadrupled its user base since January. It's quadrupled, and now, like, we're gonna have extra people like buying the lows, buying the dip, etc. And sorry, I'm just gonna navigate over here, make sure 40 miles an hour, right? Here we go. I'm in. Timmy, take over. Thank you. So, yeah, the gateways. Basically, when prices start rising properly, and they do, we're going to have another surge of people trying to like get in, and there won't be any gateway chokeholds. There won't be Kraken, Coinbase, and Bittrex going, no, we're no more users, because there's so many gateways coming up. Binance is aiming to be a fiat gateway. It's just moved to Malta so it can become a fiat gateway. Bittrex is moving to become a fiat gateway. So, like, yeah, there's no more chokeholds. Anyway, I've just looked at the time. It's 11.5 minutes. I wanted to keep this under 5. I'm really bad at short videos. Hope that makes sense. I'm bullish. I am. Even though I'm not bottom picking, I'm in. And I'm happy. I'm happy. And at the end of the day, in a year's time, when Bitcoin is sort of $50,000, getting in at $6,000 or $6,500, or hell, trying to bottom pick down into $5,000, it's not going to make much of a difference. It's better to take the low risk, high probability plays. And right now, yeah, I mean, and I always revert to this: if you buy a house, you don't check the value of your house 5 times a day. Don't do it with Bitcoin. This is, as I said, if you're in cryptos, you're in this for the big picture. And the big picture is when the global market cap gets to 10, 20, 30 trillion dollars. We're at 0.25 trillion right now. Not even 1 trillion yet. So, yep, that's probably the same update message. I'll probably have to repeat all this again in a month's time. Toodles! See ya. Bye-bye.